ends meet, but you know I'm barely getting by. And I can't wait for the weekend when I walk right in that dive.
Clark Hill is a talented singer-songwriter whose soulful voice and heartfelt lyrics have captured the attention of music lovers around the world. With a career spanning several decades, he has released numerous critically acclaimed albums, blending elements of rock, folk, and blues into a sound all his own. Known for his raw emotion and authentic storytelling, Clark's music speaks to the human experience with honesty and depth. From intimate acoustic performances to electrifying live shows, he continues to inspire fans with his passion and musical integrity. Today, we dive into the life, music, and journey of the remarkable artist, Clark Hill.
Now I'm looking pretty neon bright. Everybody says 1 beer, 2 beer, 3 beer, 4. Bartender knows I'll be back for more. When things going wrong, don't you know you gotta make it right? 5 beer, 6 beer, me.
You ever notice how many financial advisors are out there? Trying to decide which one you want to go to give them your hard-earned money to reach your financial possibilities? It's a difficult decision, but let me help you out. My good friend David Smith with Edward Jones, who, by the way, just earned the #1 ranking among 23 advice-based wealth management firms in the J.D. Power 2026 U.S. Investor Satisfaction Study. David has 20-plus years of working with people just like you, helping you reach your financial possibilities. As a financial advisor for my wife and I, he's done exceptionally well. I wouldn't be recommending him if I didn't think he'd help you reach your financial possibilities. So it's quick, easy. Just make a quick phone call if you're anywhere in the continental United States. Hit 469-372-1587, 469-372-1587. Give David a call and learn how you can reach your financial possibilities. David works for the #1 company in America, and he's #1 with my wife and I. David Smith with Edward Jones, your next financial advisor. 469-372-1587. Give him a call today. It's that you could probably write songs for the rest of your life just about your history. But the one thing that really got me was about you was the fact that you used to play in football. You've talked already about it. You said your ankle got hurt playing football. What did you play? What position did you play?
I was a tight end linebacker.
Okay. In high school, right?
Yep.
And is it true that I read that you had an undefeated year?
No, my son had an undefeated year. We went my senior year. We went on a 10-game win streak. They took us to the state semifinals, and then we lost.
There you go. And and your school couldn't have been that big. What was it?
No, that would have been 2A while I was there.
2A?
Still, we were 500 students, 600 students.
Oh yeah. So
same thing my son just did in the same town too, just a few years ago. And my dad did it. My dad was a collegiate football player. We got a lot of, like I told you before you started recording, my son plays college ball, and I was trending towards college ball, but had a child. I had my senior football season. We walked my basically infant daughter or toddler, or whatever you want to call her. She was a few months old, across the football field every Friday night. So it's a very unique scenario.
Yeah. Well, when was the time though? So you've gone through a lot in your life. And I usually start asking people when they start picking up the guitar and start doing it, but you did it later in life, a little bit later. When was the time, do you remember when you said, after all the crap I've been through, I kind of like this and I think I want to do it all the time?
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of, I know people get into this stuff gradually, but what made you say,
this is great. I think it was a culmination of things, honestly, because, I've been around music my whole life and played music in church. And I mean, I loved it. I did Elvis Presley impersonations when I was younger. So I always loved music, but I never thought it was like a future. It was just there. It was just part of life. And then in my late 20s, 2012 to be exact. So in 2012, I was going through a separation with my wife. I was married for 15 years. I got married right after high school. And it was a rough time in our marriage. And, it's kind of like you alluded to, it's one of those songs that one of those stories people wouldn't really believe was, on my birthday, I found out that she's leaving, and I had a wisdom tooth removed, and it broke my jaw, and like I'm gonna have all this stuff going on. And my brother-in-law was like, "Hey," he played in a cover band. He had just married my sister, and he's like, "Why don't you come play music with me tonight?" And I'm like, why would I do that? I don't play music. And he's like, "Well, you do tonight." And we went out to a place, and I played music with him all night and faked my way through it, and kind of caught the bug the first night. But I think the first night was just like, man, that felt good to do something different. At that point in my life, I was never a guy that went into the bars at all. I had a huge issue with alcoholism that, was, kind of over my head. And I had been through a bunch of stuff already as a young adult. So it's just my life wasn't really in a position that I could even go do those kind of things. I was really focused on trying to be a parent and trying to become a good husband. And and so anyway, so I started playing with him on the weekends, and my mom and dad would watch my two kids, and I would go play with him at these bars around Jacksonville and Gainesville and St. Augustine, Florida. And he encouraged me in these late night drives. You finish a bar gig at 2 a.m., you drive back, and you had an hour and a half drive, and you had an hour to break down. I mean, it'd be the wee hours of the morning, and he and I were bonding, and he would just talk, and we would tell stories. And he was like, "Man, you should start writing." And I was like, "Why would I write?" And he's like, "You need to try it." And so I started writing music a couple months after playing in those cover shows, and we started playing those. So like I said, I was playing, just kind of sitting in with a band that was nice enough to let me sit in.
Right.
And we started playing during their breaks. Me and my brother-in-law would play, and I would play my songs, and they were super serious, and they were sad, and they were love sad.
Of course, you were going through that in your life. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but we noticed people paying attention, and that's the part that I think that really, really stands out even to this day, and to the point that I'm in my career, is like there's a lot that I haven't figured out. But the one thing that I figured out is, for whatever reason, Rick, people listen. And I don't know, like, I'm a very spiritual person. So to me, that's where my mind goes, is like, that's what the gift is. That the gift really isn't music. The gift is, for whatever reason, people want to know more. Yeah, people want to know more of the story. And like I said, there's so much more of my life story that hasn't been told yet, that I look forward to the next decade or 2 decades of telling and sharing, and ideally championing people to. I mean, I've lived a really good life, but I've also lived a really hard life. But I couldn't have had the good life if it weren't for the things I've been through, right? That kind of mentality. So when I started doing that, and I started sharing my story through song, but realized people were listening, I'm like, man, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Why am I doing anything else? And that was basically how I caught the bug. And I was in my late 20s, and I did the same thing. I never moved. I had kids at home, but I was like, I'm going to Nashville. I showed up to Nashville and started knocking on doors. And I mean, I literally showed up to Nashville during the CMA Fest. I didn't even know what the CMA Fest was. I wasn't a country guy. I had no clue. I literally had no clue. I show up during CMA Fest, and I'm like on Music Row, knocking on doors, going, I'm going to find a record deal. I had homemade business cards. My dad and my brother-in-law were walking up and down the street with me, laughing at me, and I was getting kicked out of Warner Music. And it's funny. Some of these people now are my friends, and it's a really cool full circle thing of like, what brought me to music was a little bit of the challenge of accomplishing something into a 1 percentile. But then the opportunity to share a story, it's like, that's probably what the core of it was for me.
When I see people like you doing your, what's it called, One Beer, I think that's what it's called. I can tell you're having fun. And even though I don't know if all those people in that bar were all friends of yours, it doesn't matter. Everybody there was having a good time. And how many times I've told young artists, and it doesn't matter who I see perform or interview, when you walk on that stage and you look like you're having fun, the audience is going to have fun with you.
Yeah.
So you had the last album you brought out, was that last year? Or was it earlier this year? You released something this year? I'm trying to remember what I remember. Yeah,
so I just released my third song of the year. No, second song of the year, sorry. Second song of the year. I released 3 songs last year, and then there was a 4-year gap between music. So my last album was right before 2020 or 2018 or 2019, and then COVID and divorce and death of dad, like all that took over. And then now I'm at like we've got about 6 more songs that are already recorded and finished that we're churning out. And we just did a blues release. Friday will be 2 weeks ago, right?
What's it called?
Friday
What's
will
it
be.
called?
It's called Pray for Rain.
Okay.
Make
sure I get a copy of it. I'm a blues guy,
sure.
so it's like, yeah.
Yeah, that was a, man, like what's been so cool about the newest experiences, I don't know how much you're into the country lane right now, but there's a lady named Kelly Sutton that's one of the voices of the Opry, and she does Opry TV. And I interviewed with her last week and befriended her. I have a kind of a history of doing really well and kind of making friends. I love people, man. So it's like I love making new friends. Like to me, these aren't just interviews. I love it. I love hearing your story just as much as I love telling mine.
Yeah.
And Kelly and I were talking, and she goes, "What inspired this song?" And she's like, "I know that sounds like such a cliche question." She's like, "But I'm asking." And we were off air. We were just standing in like backstage of the Opry, and she's like, "You know what brought this about? Because this just feels different." And I said, that's ultimately what brought it about, was that it feels different. I was like, that's what it was. It's like, I grew up a Southern rocker at heart. To me, the Southern rock genre is the genre, because the core of Southern rock is storytelling. So that's the country element of it. And then, blues is all about storytelling as well, but blues loves to tell it with how it feels, which is really important to me. Rock and roll, especially that era of rock and roll when Southern rock hit, was like the Hellraisers, right? But every single one of them were deep spiritual human beings. Most of them were somewhat intellectual, so they had a thought process. Everybody sees them as, oh, well, they were out running drugs and partying. That wasn't the case all the time. These guys were very deep thinkers, and not just musically, just in life in general. And then you had gospel roots, which was really important to me and my spirituality. And so to me, I'm very proud to be a part of CMA, very proud to be a part of ACMs. I love the country lane, but like my lane is Southern rock. My lane is the 70s Southern rock, not just the sound, but like how we did music in that era. It was such a great era of music. And Pray for Rain was like my version of like, okay, if I was the biggest artist in the world and I could do whatever I wanted, what would I do? And I was like, okay, well, here's a song that I would do it. And we recorded the first part of it at Muscle Shoals. And
Which studio did you go to?
I used a place called East Avalon.
Okay, I know where it is. Oh, yeah, I've heard of it, yeah.
Super cool story about that, by the way. When we went, I went and toured Fame and Muscle Shoal Sounds. And then, oh my gosh, Something Another Moon, the one that... the one that Bob Seger owns.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That's on the river. And I'm like, I loved all those places, but I show up, I get into East Avalon, and it just felt like what I wanted, which was like, it's a house. I mean, it's a studio, but what I'm saying is they have like 2 apartments in it and a kitchen. And I'm like, this is what I want.
It's not in Muscle Shoals, is it?
It's in Sheffield.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Yep.
I went there with.
So I'm like,
yeah, it's quite the place. Is that the one? Yeah, down in the basement, they have the big reverb. Yep, I've been there.
Yep. It's actually
it's a cool place.
It's the reverb sound that people are buying on Logic. That the Muscle Shoals sound is actually that sound.
Gigantic things. Yeah,
it's like a dang block room is all it is, and they put a microphone and a speaker in there, and so it's like, but it just felt right. So I recorded that there, and then when I go to record my vocals, I record my vocals in Nashville. I wasn't actually in Nashville. I was like east of Nashville, like 40 miles, but with my guy that does my vocals. And I remember telling him, I'm like, hey man, I want to do this song, and I'm recording the vocals. And he gets on the talk back, and he's like, Clark, he's like, I can hear you thinking, what is going on in your head? Like, what's happening? I'm like, I don't know, man. He's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, what I want to do on this song, I can't do. And he said, he brings me back in the control room, and he's like, listen, he's like, I know you're a perfectionist. I know you want people to like you. I know all these different things. He said, but this is the one place that if we don't like it, we just hit delete and we do it again. He's like, try what you're feeling. He's like, stop holding back. And so I went back in and I cut that song the next take, and I was like, it's raw and it's honest and it's vulnerable. And that's what I preach all the time, is that about, like, I want to be a vulnerable artist. I want to be a vulnerable public speaker. I want to be a vulnerable writer. I want to be a vulnerable influencer, like all these different things. And that's probably the first time, that and my next song that's coming out that's about my dad are the first 2 times that I've actually been vulnerable. Like where it's just like, let me just tell this story. Like lyrically, Pray for Rain is not super in depth, but let me tell you what, like, it tells a story, and it tells a deep, 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 deep story. And it feels good, and it's got a blues sound to it, and we let it breathe and let it kind of sit, and it just has all these cool things that, in my opinion, music's not doing right now. All genres, like we're in an age of technology, which I love technology too. Like, I mean, I'm all for it, but it's like we're in an age of technology where all the glitz and the glam can override the artistry.
Correct.
And on Pray for Rain, man, like, we just sat there and let it breathe, and we just let it do its own thing. And when we're done, we're like, okay, now that's the kind of music I can be proud of. And, it's streaming pretty good, but it's like, if 50 million people don't listen to it, I'll be okay. I'm happy with it. And that's I think, the coolest part of where I'm at.
That's what matters. You're happy with it. You're happy with it.
And that's a new era for me as an artist, is being happy with what I'm putting out. And,
I think the hardest thing, though,
moving along.
I was going to say, I think the hardest thing being an artist, though, is trying to do two things at once.
Yeah.
Trying to accommodate your fan base or get new fans and still like what you do.
Yep.
So it's like, I've had people on here that are different artists, and I say, I think it's really good that you're different, but it's a good and bad thing, because you got to go out and find your own fans. You're not trying to duplicate somebody else, because you're writing a song and you're thinking, okay, this sounds like whatever. And then you have to get to a point where you go, okay, I just going to do, and that's what it sounds like you said on Pray for Rain. I'm doing what I like. And I took up philosophy back when I recorded my first album in '94, and we did it on tape. It was everything that was in digital. We mixed it to digital.
Right.
And you just have to go to yourself and say, this is what I do. If you like it, I made this decision. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I can't change who I am to accommodate you, because I'll be changing all the time to accommodate you. And it's never going to happen. And what you said earlier is absolutely true. I love digital recording because I can do everything I can now, where I used to have to go pay somebody to do it. And I've had to learn how to, my own engineering and all that stuff. But it's going to become, and how would I say it? It's just not real anymore.
Yeah.
And I was listening I know the Stones have got a brand new album out. It's just crazy, those guys on there. I think they'll die on stage. And I was
probably.
And I was listening to their first tune, and it sounds like something out of the 60s. They got that raw sound again that they learned, and I'm thinking they could do anything they wanted to, with anybody they want to. And what they did was they go back to their kind of roots where they started 60 plus years ago. And I think that's the hard thing about it. And when you do something like you just said with that song, and you're happy with it, it really doesn't matter what people think. You just hope that they like it, and Muscle Shows was one of those things that was eye-opening for me, because the fact that then I realized that, even though I've been playing for a long time, musicians are not competing with each other. We just do our own thing. And you may sing better than I do. I might be able to do a blues lick better than you. And so everybody does their own thing. So you've got this. So what do you do now? You've got the songs, and then you go out and support it, and try to get people.
Yeah.
To go out. Obviously, you probably
So the last year for us has been really heavily media specific, which is. It's a blessing, and it's not my favorite thing. I love the people side of media, but I prefer to play shows. I like to get one-on-one and connect with someone. So we're in the middle of development with WME now, which is a really good spot for me as an artist, because that's pretty much as high up as you can go. And my guy's one of the partners. I'm in a really good spot, but it's we have a lot of work to do in order to justify them putting me in the places they can put me in. We've been very heavy media oriented, in the sense of just getting people to know who Clark Hill is, or wanting to know more about who Clark Hill is. And then developing the sound a little bit too, which I know is weird because I'm not a new artist anymore, but it's really trying to hone in on what do I want to be, not what do I think people want me to be. Which the irony with me is that I have a lot of different sounds, and not just because I have different influences. We all have different influences. But I can accomplish a lot of different things, none of it great by any means, but I have a lot of different things that are infiltrating my music all the time. And for me, historically speaking, in a live environment, which is where I'm my best at, I give a taste of all of those. I always have. I did a thing out in Oregon at the end of the year last year for Oregon Jamboree, and I had a 60-minute set on the big stage. And I remember being like, okay, where am I going to go with this show? And as we got closer, I'm telling my band what I want to accomplish. And they're like, well, it feels all over the place. And I'm like, it is, but I have a reason. And my reason was to kind of try to show the audience the similarities, where you have this East Coast Southern boy that's going to come to the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to bring you this taste of Southern rock and some of the things that you think you love about music. And then I'm going to show you where they all kind of intersect together, which is that music. And the irony in this, and I want to stop myself, is that I am probably the farthest thing from a bleeding heart. I'm a true old school, like rough around the edges Southern boy. But I have this deep affinity for just believing that we all have similarities, no matter what our political differences, religious differences, colors, it doesn't matter. To me, I think there's always a way to get along with everybody. There's a line of respect that is drawn. I'm definitely a very alpha male personality type, but not like 2026 alpha male. I'm like an old alpha male. And so my thing is I'm like, I'm standing on this stage. Yeah, a lot of people don't, but I know what I mean.
Yeah,
so I'm standing on the stage. And I'm like, I have this opportunity. And again, like I keep talking about, I'm very spiritual. I believe that God has me here for a reason, and I better listen to him more than I listen to anybody else.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that I get up there and preach the gospel. It doesn't mean that I get up there and share a story that people judge me for. It just means that I better be willing to be vulnerable, because God will move if you let him. That's my mentality. So when you pull people into a room and you pull them into an environment, how can I get all of these people from different areas, from different likes, from different dislikes, and how can I get them on the same page? And to me, music is part of that, right? So the music is such a great gift. Well, why, for me, and I fight my team on this sometimes, like, why should I fight and stay with one sound so that you can identify me when that's not how you identify me anyway? Like what I listen to in music today is not what I'm going to listen to tomorrow. And to me, that makes me human, because I think every human does that. Every human may love, like my biggest artists that influenced me, Elvis Presley's number one, number two is Prince, number three is Leonard Skinner. Then you have like a Boyz II Men influence and a Gaither vocal band influence, right? You have all of these different things that have different elements. But my point behind it is that today I may want to listen to 90s country, and tomorrow I may want to listen to AC/DC. And I think that is more normal than people realize, right? I think that is the normal progression for music lovers. So why fight to only have this one sound? At the end of the day, when I open my mouth, you're going to know it's me regardless, right?
Well,
you're going to hear my voice.
Yeah, but the point being is, every time you write a song, it still has you in it.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, it doesn't matter, because it's always going to be, if they understand you, then they're going to hear you. They're going to hear your song, doing whatever you want to do.
Rick, one of my other things too is that you keep hearing me use the word vulnerability. That has probably been the word of the year when it comes to media, right? Is that I talk about vulnerability, then you better be willing to live the vulnerability. And one of my things is that I don't know everything about who I am as a man yet, neither. And that's a really scary, but also very fun experience, right? So the more I'm willing to experience that in music, the more that I will find the people that want to hear, or maybe more importantly, need to hear my music, right? Is that music is a very special thing. And I may not know exactly what I'm accomplishing, but if I'm willing to share it, right? If I'm willing to experience that emotion publicly, then maybe we do something special with it. And, One Beer is a really cool example, because I'm actually, even though I'm a Southern rocker at heart, I'm a really heartfelt songwriter. Like most of my songs are going to be leaning more towards power ballads, normally some kind of love story or heartbreak story or spiritual journey. And One Beer was like a fun side for me, where it's like, hey, I'm fun as well.
That's a blues riff. I mean, that's a blues
right,
song.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I can tell you this, if I would hope that one day you'll make one, you come see my live show. What you'll find out with me is that probably the most important thing for me when it comes to music is actually not the lyrics. It's I'm a very big feel oriented guy. So my band gets very preached at all the time about understanding the dynamics of a show, especially a live show. And my evolution in the studio has finally started to take that on, which is that I want people to feel it before they even know what I'm saying. I want them to feel the emotion of the song. I want it to touch them. I want the chill bumps to come up on their arms before they even know what's going on. And to me, that gives me the greatest opportunity to do something. I had a big interview yesterday, and I told the lady, first time I ever said it in an interview, I couldn't believe it, but I guess I'm going to start sharing it. And I was like, my greatest personal fear in life is my funeral being empty. And a lot of people just like, man, what does that even mean? But it is. It's a huge driving fear of mine, right? Yeah. So when it comes to music and dynamics, to me, that's one of the things that I can do to directly influence that, is that if I make you feel something, I don't even have to make you smile. If I make you feel something, you're probably going to want to come back, right? Because that's what music does. Like, especially the era of music that I'm in love with, that older era of music, that 70s, 60s and 70s music. I mean, it definitely goes before then too, but I'm such a huge 70s guy, which isn't even that old of an era of music. I mean, there was a lot of crazy good things happening in the 40s and 50s, but the 70s was such a movement of just rock stars, man, that were talking about real life stuff and touching on real subjects and how hard life was for them back home, and loving and just real. It wasn't just there because it sounded cool. And I think back, I don't know how much of a Leonard Skinner fan you are, but like, it's not my favorite Leonard Skinner song, but there's a song by Leonard Skinner called "I Need You," and I mean, it's a love story, right? It's a heartbreak and a love story. But you want to talk about a song that just sounds like a rock song, but it's a love song, right? Like, and that was like huge for me, and it's huge for me now. And when I think about music, I'm like, we have so many ways that we can tell a story. And like you alluded to at the very beginning, I have such a story to tell. Like we can't even tell my story, and we could spend a whole day on here and we can't tell half of my story.
Oh yeah, and I think part
that's
of it
what's so fun about it. It's years and years and years to really share this with the world.
Well, and you have a couple other things going on. I think one of them, other than you're doing what you want to do, but also your story will change other people's lives too. That's not why you're doing it, but that's not your main drive. But I mean, when you get up there and people look at your story, and the more you do it, more people are going to read about you. They're going to go, well, wait a minute. I was a teen dad too, and look how he's overcome what he had to overcome. So the song that you're just talking about, praying for rain, it's out now. You've released it.
Yeah, yep. Okay. It came out almost, like I said, almost 2 weeks ago. Pray for rain.
Now, have you got a video going with that one, or are you going to shoot a video, or have you already done it?
We just did some like short content video stuff on it, and then we're going to get ready for the next one. That's a song about my dad that we're going to do around Father's Day.
That's coming up.
Yep. That one's going to be a hard one, but we're going to do it.
Yeah. Well, it's cathartic for you.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I mean, it's a cool song, and I just wonder a little bit if the timing is right, but I think it is. I mean, I'm going to trust my team, and we've built a pretty good team, and we're building a good team, and I'm going to trust it, and we're going to put it out. We're going to be vulnerable, like I keep saying, and we're going to see what the world thinks. And if it changes a life, then I did my job. It's that simple.
So you have to come to Dallas so I saw and watch you.
Absolutely, yeah. I actually got a new buddy I just made in Dallas this weekend. I got the opportunity to go spend some time with Blake Shelton backstage at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace, which was really cool. And it was, I just finished my pilot's license, so that's always a cool talking point. And I
Does he
met
fly
Blake's
too?
pilot. No, but his pilots were there.
Okay.
Because they're going back and forth. So I met his helicopter. He has a helicopter pilot and a jet pilot. And I was talking to his helo pilot, and his helo pilot's like, man, you need to come out to Dallas. And he's a 23-year Marine Corps veteran that was a flight instructor in Marine Corps, and he's a civilian flight instructor for helos. And he was like, man, he's like, I love music. I love this, blah, blah, blah. It would be my honor to give you your helo endorsement. Why don't you come out to Dallas? And he was literally right before I got on with you. He was texting me. He's like, I was dead serious, man. Are you coming to Dallas? I'm like, all right, we'll come to Dallas.
Yeah, I know where they train.
We'll have to go do that. That's the one thing that's really fun about this industry. You meet a lot of cool people.
Right. You come to Dallas, there's just a few places to play in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yeah. There's one or two. There's a couple that are on I did I did a thing with Craig Morgan at Billy Bob's or whatever. Is it Billy Bob? Not Billy Bob.
Billy
Is it called
Bob's
Billy
is in
Bob's?
Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Billy Bob's. Yeah. In Fort
Yeah,
Worth.
I was definitely a place I would like to come visit again. But I tell people I'll play anywhere. As long as y'all don't ask me to play 4 hours and a bunch of cover songs, I'll play anywhere. I'll play in a backyard. I don't care.
Well, that's all you need to know, brother, is you love what you do, and I hope that you continue to grow bigger and bigger.
Yes, sir.
And
thank you.
Well, that's it for this episode of The Trout Show. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed my interview with the wonderfully talented Mr. Clark Hill. For more information about him, all you got to do is go to his website, Clark Hill Music, and check him out. His Instagram is the same. I hope you jump on him and listen to him, because the fact he's really a talented guy, and I really like him a lot, and I wish him all the success in the world. And by the way, Clark, thanks for coming on the show. For more information about The Trout Show, just go to my website, thetroutshow.com, and you can find all my other podcasts, my interviews, my music, everything you want to know. I can tell you, I have some wonderful, talented artists coming up in the near future. I think you'll like them all. So until next time, people, you know what I always say. It's only rock and roll, but I love it. See ya.